Good morning. Happy Sunday to everyone out there. I just wanted to take a few minutes to kind of update people on what's going on with me and to share some things that have been helpful in my own mental health journey, especially during the pandemic. So, self care is really the name of the game. And I always thought that sounded like super cheesy and maybe not applicable. Like, I'm not somebody who goes out and gets um, pedicures and things like that on a regular basis. So, I was kind of like poo pooed that idea, but lately I've been taking a lot of walks, and it doesn't have to be a walk, but whatever kind of relaxes you, that is healthy. I see no reason to deprive yourself, especially right now, as long as you're being safe about it. Um, and I'm going to try. I think this would be a good idea to use my journal, which I love. I did a video on it, maybe like on my other channel or something. But it's a roomy writing and creativity journal. So it has, I'm sure this is like all repeat, but it has like all these beautiful paintings in here with nice messages, such as follow your heart to discern. Let me try that again. Follow your heart to discern the hidden mystery where roses bloom and streams of devotion flow. And that was by Rumi, who was a Sufi poet in like the 14th century or something like that. Um, but yeah, so I want to use this in conjunction with my DBT workbook, which I did a meditation out of the other day, actually. It's like chock full of all these different tips, and you kind of like get to check off which ones sound good to you. Like it's almost like a laundry list or a menu, I guess would be a good way of thinking about it. And so, like, for me personally, I like to write things down. I feel like I commit them to memory a little bit better that way. Whether or not that is actually true remains to be seen. But it's just kind of how I roll. So, another thing that has been helpful for me, which I haven't been doing enough of, is going to online virtual church. I am a Unitarian Universalist, and it basically hinges on the fact that all humans are worthy and I'm not going to say it very well, but that we should all have love and respect for one another. It's one of the highest principles. And today there was a guest minister, and I can't remember his name, unfortunately, but he talked about loving kindness. And I'm not sure, have you ever heard of loving kindness? But it is a meditation. So it's called metta meditation. I'm by no means an expert or anything, but I just really love the format of this meditation. I think that I should do it more often. I think my life would be better off for it. But it goes as follows. May I be happy. May I be well. May I be safe. May I be peaceful and at ease. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be peaceful and full of ease. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings be well. May all beings be peaceful and full of ease. So that to me, I don't know, it does something to make me personally feel better, instead of feeling like I'm holding a lot of like hatred inside of me, which just tends to like feel yucky. I don't know, like it's like eating you alive or something. It's all consuming, distracts you from all of the different projects that you could be completing if you didn't have this huge kind of like ego trip, personal vendetta against someone else who probably did you wrong and probably does deserve, you know, some kind of retribution. I shouldn't say that. Nobody deserves that, right? I don't know. I grapple with this myself. So it's just something to think about. Like, and speaking of which, I'm not sure. I think you can see this pretty well, but I like to light candles. Like, so this is like a ritual that I have for my studio days. So these all mean something, and I forget what, but it's like creativity, abundance, and prosperity or something. Two of them are like the same. And then I have this homemade candle. I mean, it's one of those pillar candles, obviously. It didn't come with anything on it. So I just added some embellishment, some different kind of like netting fabrics, just hot glue, and these kind of like crystal or zebra rhinestones. So I have to get all the way in there for this one. Thank goodness for candle lighters. Okay, but I guess in the description I promised I'd talk about kind of like what I have going on creatively right now. And to be honest, it's been really difficult for me to kind of like sit on these things and not be telling people about them. So I'm going to give you like a general taste of what's to come, but just bear in mind, I don't want to give a lot of detail. I don't want to like give things away. So it's kind of like you'll see it when you see it. But first off, in the music sector, I almost feel like I have to segment my different like creative lives. I don't know why they don't kind of like merge. There are times, but anyway, on the music front, we are working on doing a series of EPs. So each EP will be a shorter release. So it's not going to be an album. It's going to be either 4 or 5 songs at a time. So the first one has a song that I'm really excited about. I think it's super memorable. Like you'll sing it to yourself. And it just kind of like expresses this romantic longing that is very real, even when you're in a relationship for a long time. Longing to kind of like know the other person on a very deep level. I don't know if anyone else ever feels like that, where you can be close with someone, but like you want to know like how their mind really processes things and works and all of that good stuff. So yeah, the chorus is kind of like based on real life because, and isn't everything really, but it's the moonlight first, then the street light, and then the spotlight. So, you know, brings me back to like the younger days of dating and like, you know, saying goodbye at the end of the night or just like hanging out on a summer night and just like having the full moon be there with you. And the street light, like loading up gear for a gig, you know, being outside of the venue in the city and just kind of that vibe. And then the spotlight being up on stage, like doing what you love, which is performing. So, yeah, I think you might like it, but it doesn't really bother me too much if it's not received like ecstatically. It's like it's something that comes from within. And I just think to be able to like express the gifts that you've been given in life is like, it's so special. And I really wish that for all of you. So that's music. Okay. So we have like a studio in our basement that my husband created. And so he's actually going to be playing guitar, like rhythm guitar, and then upright bass on top of that. He may be throwing in some, oh geez, slide guitar. Like he used to do the pedal steel and all this stuff as well. But he's got a lot of instrumentation that he's responsible for, and he's also the one that's recording it and like mastering it and all that fun stuff. And then I'm going to do my vocals. Then our friend Dave is going to jump in on lead guitar. And the cool thing is, John usually plays upright. Like, have you seen like them slapping the strings? Well, on some of the songs, he's actually going to be using a bow and like make it really dramatic and everything. Okay, so that was music. With writing, right now I'm in the middle of a novel, and I guess I could say I'm reading one and I'm writing one. I don't know about you, but it's like I always feel like I have several books going at the same time as well. So it's hard to like focus on just one. Have a nonfiction book over here, a novel here, and then be writing one. Why not? So this story is very special to me. It's very personal to me, but it is fiction. And I wanted to use my imagination in a way that could hopefully resonate with readers of all different ages. Just that whole like Alice in Wonderland type of, I almost want to say teletransportation, like taking you to a different time and place, and in some cases, the same place at a different time. So kind of like seeing what changes have happened throughout history. And there's a good bit of, I don't know if intrigue is the word, but like we're getting into some hefty mental health issues, some really maybe disturbing turns of events based on real life. So there's some celebrity thrown in there. There's some old money versus new money. Just, all kinds of different themes are racing through the story. And it's really been a labor of love for me. I have only taken off 1 week from work so far to work on it. But I think I probably will need to take off some additional time. And let's see. Yeah, it's tricky with writing. I don't know if you've attempted it, but like once you get into that mindset, it can really flow. And we'll talk about the experience of a flow state. I'm sure many times across various videos on this channel, but once you get out of that state and like regular life takes over, it is really difficult to kind of like jump back in midstream and be like, oh, this is what was happening. This is what's going to happen next. Like, it's like you're being taken out of the world that your characters lived in. So I had to just do that the other day, and it was a kind of surreal experience. In some ways, I feel like the novel is evolving before me every day, and it's up to me to capture it. So, things happening in real life that kind of make it seem like the door is closing, like you're not going to have this glimpse into the history forever. And so that's just like a a little story thread there. Just that things change, and the places that used to look so magnificent and stately and just gorgeous are now taken up by other buildings and parking lots, and the whole like Joni Mitchell song, but it's very real. So that's the fiction piece. I'm trying to think if I've done any other writing lately. Not really. And then the other thing that I've been doing is more on the community service front. So that's been making masks. My hair is at this really like, I don't know, awkward phase right now. So bear with me here. Anyway, so I've just been like in my free time making up some masks for the upcoming school year. Primarily, I'm trying to make more kids masks right now. And that has been a labor of love. And, speaking of the whole loving kindness, I just feel that it's a way that I can take something that I have been gifted with, which is the ability to sew. And I'm not saying sew very well. I'm not like the best, straightest seam stitcher out there, but it is a skill that I have that I'm able to share with others. So that feels really great. Of course, we have a visitor. You love my messy table there. He's singing Blippi. That's Julian. He's part of my creative muse community, I guess you would say. I don't know, when he was a baby and I was going through all of my tough postpartum depression times and everything, I felt very close to him on maternity leave, and kind of like made promises like, I'm going to follow this path and try my best and really go for it. And I was in particular talking about music. But for some reason, that memory just holds dear. It was like right after watching this motivational video on YouTube. So they do something. They're worth something, I guess. But anywho, he's very artistic. He draws on the walls with black Sharpie, thick Sharpie, and then goes around with finger paints to kind of, colorify everything. So, we've got the coffee table, the walls, that's either black scribbles, as Jesse would call them, scribble scrabbles, or, he's always looking to color or do things like that. So that's really cool, having that bond with him in that way. His older brother tends to like, as far as I can tell, to like follow instructions more when it comes to like art projects and things. He hasn't shown any interest in sewing yet, but I think it's only a matter of time, right? Maybe like I keep making cool masks and maybe he'll want to make one. I don't know. But yeah, I like the idea of using creativity for the benefit of others. So, there's people that crochet and knit, comfort blankets for other people, baby blankets. There's so many examples, like Days for Girls is this really cool organization where in developing countries, the girls are given a reusable pad kit. So when it's their time of the month, they're no longer in isolation, sitting in a room on cardboard, out of school and all of that. So that's called Days for Girls. And, there's also things like Cases for Smiles. And I found out about both of these organizations at So What, the fabric and sewing machine and all things sewing and embroidery and quilting store. And that's, I think it's a Wilmington address, Delaware. Anywho, Cases for Smiles is where you make these really fun pillowcases for kids that are in the hospital. So I think sometimes people may assume that if you're doing things like that, that you're not being creative, but I would argue that you always have the opportunity to have some fun picking out the specific fabrics and notions, and like really thinking about the person that's going to be receiving it, and making it as enjoyable and useful as possible. So there's so many examples I could give like that, but I hope that kind of like sparks your imagination. I wish I could think of more. So like feel free if you've got an example and you want to type it in the chat, that would be lovely as well. Let's see. I think I talked about pretty much everything I wanted to, and I've been talking for a really long time. But I'm going to draw an angel card to close out our time together. So these are made by an author and illustrator named Tony Carmine Salerno. And he did the last journal that I had. I showed you that like really pretty creativity journal. So I don't have that handy, but anyway, these cards are amazing. And the last one I drew today was called Heart Song, and I enjoyed that. So I don't know who's watching. If you want, you can say where you're watching from or your name, but I'm going to draw a card for you. And it says that I should close my eyes and think of a question or situation that you would like some insight into. So you can keep that totally to yourself. But okay, I'm just gonna pick whichever one kind of like jumps out at me. Trust. Oops, sorry. I totally butchered the description. Here we go again. All will work out well. We, your angels, are here to nurture, protect, and heal you. Trust in the healing power of our love. We love you more than you will ever know. So I'm not sure if it comes across backwards on your screen. On my screen, this is, the word trust is backwards here, which is kind of disconcerting. But I think I've watched my videos after the fact, and they are correct. So anyway, this is what the other side of the card looks like there too for you. So I hope that that's applicable in some way to your life today. And thank you so much for tuning in. Julian and I are going to say goodbye until next time. Rock on.